Hello again everyone. We are at the end of July and 2/3 of the way through the build. So what have I achieved? I've actually had a really productive month. I'm very pleased with what I've done. I decided, despite what I said last time, that I would finish and weather the robes and get all of those sorted. I had enough of sewing, so I went to my happy place and spent most of the month doing foam crafting. So I will show you that shortly. But still very productive. I have the luggage more or less constructed anyway. Next weekend we'll be spray painting it, so it's getting there, looking very good. What I did achieve as far as robes and stuff goes was what I thought was going to take forever, and it did, was stitching all of the moons and suns onto the cloak. So we have a nice cloak with a whole lot of moons and suns all on it, and all hand stitched, and it took a really long time. But it looks looks really good. Really pleased with this. Nice big hood, and got the edges on. The only thing I'm going to have to do is get it to sit back a little bit more, because it doesn't, Rincewind doesn't wear it like this with it out the front. It sort of sits back like this. So I think I'm going to have to put some ribbon or string or something just to pull it back in a little bit at the back, so it sort of sits more like this just on the opening rather than big cloaky thing, because I managed to make a big cloaky thing. So yeah, that's what I have to do on that, and then obviously weather all of this. So I haven't bothered hemming the bottom of everything because it will be weathered with a rock or hemmed with a rock, same as all the rest. So that was the last of the sewing that I did, but I'm very pleased with that, so that's all done. Now it's just weathering it. What I decided to do instead was make the luggage. So last time I was talking about trying to find out if I could do the legs. I ended up printing all of those, so I have 42 little legs all ready to go. So that all needs to be painted and sprayed in different colours. And I found some fantastic skin tone spray paints. So I'll be able to do a whole lot of interesting colours for the legs. So that all needs to be done. The legs are currently in all sorts of interesting colours because I was using up the last of my random filaments. So I have green and pink and silver and white. So yeah, using up all the old filament to get that all done. So I have all the legs printed. Very happy with that. And the luggage is, like I say, mostly done. So let's see if we can have a look-see. Here is the luggage. So this weekend has been, well, the last month has been building it. And then this weekend has been doing all of the finishing, sanding, and getting all of this wood grain in. I'll bring some bits up to show. So here we have the top. You can see a little bit of caulking where I still need to sand it up, but the entire thing has been all nicely sanded, so it's all nice and smooth. So I will be able to plasti dip that next. The luggage has eyes, sort of, which is sort of the point. So that's all more or less done. It all works. What I've also done is inside the luggage there will be teeth. So a lot of this weekend has been spent carving these out of foam, and that took a really long time. But I have all sorts of teeth, so they'll fit together. So when I open the jaw or open the lid of the luggage, there will be teeth. And the mechanics of that are more or less done, but I kind of have to wait until I've painted everything to get that all ready to go next. But in theory, should work. nice and light, so it doesn't need a lot of spring, and then the tops just drop down. So that should all be reasonably easy. That is the plan anyway. What else? I think that's about it, but frankly that's a hell of a lot for a month. So I'm really pleased with where I am. So what's on the cards for next month? Obviously the next month big thing is painting the luggage. So a few layers on that need to happen. It needs to get plastied it to seal everything in, then I can spray paint it, and that needs to be done in gold and brown to do the wood, and then quite a bit of airbrushing just to give it a little bit more of a cartoony art style to it. So I sort of have that penciled in for next weekend. I'd like to get that sorted because the weekend after I'm away, and then I'm rapidly running out of August. So yeah, it's the crunch is starting to kick in. I am still confident that I'm on track for everything, but there are a few things that I'm sort of thinking, oh, there's not a lot of time left. So yeah, the next weekend is trying to paint all of this, get that all weathered, get that all done. August, in theory, should be basically getting the luggage finished. I've decided I've had enough of sewing for now, so it's flick across to the luggage. So yeah, the luggage should, and it's reasonably comfortable I think, should get done by the end of August, and then September will be finishing up Rincewind. So just needs the robes and cloak weathered, needs the, what else do I need? Need to make a belt, need a belt, need to weather everything. Then I really just need to sit down and work out what other things are needed. I don't think there's a lot. I mean, Rincewind doesn't really carry like potions or books or anything like a like most wizards do. About the only thing that I might, if I have time, and now we're getting into the real nice to haves, is to make a copy of the Octavo, which is a book that the luggage eats in one book. Of the Discworld. So it'd be nice to have that. That would be quite fun. A nice little feature when you open up the luggage. There are teeth and a book. Don't know whether that'll happen. We'll see. That's definitely a nice to have, but it'll be sort of, you know, it'll be a very, very last minute thing. So I may let that one fall aside. The one that I am having a challenge with is casting the medallion. I spent part of this weekend past trying to cast using a blowtorch and various things around the house. Can get the stuff to melt, just can't get enough of it to melt. So I sort of run up against a wall of thermal mass to try and keep a whole lot of brass melted. So gonna have to rethink that. I'd like to do it. I'd still like to cast a brass medallion because I think that would just be cool to be able to do that as part of all of this. But I'm not entirely holding my breath on that one. I think that may fall by the wayside. But hey, I've still got a little bit of time, so we will see what happens there. But yeah, it's harder than I thought. I knew it was going to be a challenge, but it's harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd be able to you know, get a reasonable hash at casting a bit of brass, but just cannot get enough of it melted at the time to be able to do the whole thing. So maybe, maybe not. There's a few maybes, a few maybe nots. It'll be really nice to have it because I think it'll be a really sort of good feather in the cap to say, hey, I actually cast the brass for this medallion, and I think that would be cool. But we'll see. Might happen, might not. What else? I think that's really about it. We've got the luggage going well. We've got Rincewind going well. Nothing ridiculous other than the brass. That was the ridiculously challenging thing. Everything else is pretty standard. I mean, it's foam smithing. That's where I'm happy. I am happy. This is a technique I haven't used before, which is using a soldering iron to put the lines into the wood. and I'm really pleased with how that's come up. You know, you can see the planks of timber and some caulking where I ran out of foam. So yeah, that's probably the thing that I didn't expect it to look as good as it did, so I'm really happy with that. Yeah, so at the moment, reasonably comfortable with how we're going. Like I say, I miss out on one weekend in August, and then we're down, basically there's 7 weekends left, and most of my work is done on the weekends, just because I just don't have time during the week. So yeah, it's not a lot of time left, or not a lot of days left anyway, so cross fingers I get some decent weather so I can spray paint, because I can't spray paint inside. I don't have enough room, so need some decent weather, and Dunedin is cold and it gets dark really early, so I have to hope that I get some decent days during the weekend. Cross fingers, the weather forecast for next weekend is not too bad. There is stuff I can do inside, a little bit of weathering, but most of my weathering stuff needs to happen outside, so relying on Dunedin for good weather is brave, kind of stupid, but hey, let's hope. So yeah, that's kind of an update. I think I'm pretty happy with where I am, so ask me again in another month, and then there's only 1 month left, and we'll see how it's all going. Awesome. See you guys next month.